Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome back to Wobble and Jaw Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you're a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. It's the final round of the regular season for the NRLW. Boy, howdy, did time go quick. Let's get stuck into it. Round 9 kicks off tonight from PointsBet Stadium. Cronulla host West Tigers. Sharkies are $1.19. The Tigers are $4.70. These two sides met last season, and it was West Tigers who defeated Cronulla. I think it was out at Belmore, If not, it was Campbelltown. Going into the team lists for both of these sides, and the Sharkies have elected to go with a full-strength side, and I guess that's fair enough, even though there's still a risk of suspension and or injury with 1 week to go before finals. They do need to iron out the creases because they're on a 2-game losing streak, and they're still a chance of getting that minor premiership, but they need to take care of business against the Tigers side that are so plucky. Like, they've just been belted from pillar to post with all these injuries. But with the Sharkies, Tonagato is at fullback. Hanaway and Preston remain as the halves pairing. The only out for Sharks is Chloe Saunders. And for the West Tigers, Montana Clifford returns to the fold. Jessica Kennedy is out. And we've got Tess Staines as well, who could be a late inclusion as well. I'm going to tip the Sharkies in this one, but if they have one eye on the finals next week, the Tigers are very well capable of pinching an upset in this game. But if they're fair dinkum Cronulla, they put the sword to the Tigers and they win this one 13+. On Saturday, there is a doubleheader emanating from Queensland Country Bank Stadium. The first game of the doubleheader is the Dragons, the home team, taking on the Brizzy Broncos. Broncos are $1.15. Dragons are $5.50. Let's get into the team list now for the St. George Dragons. And Kim Hunt makes her way back into the NRLW side, wearing jersey number 2. We've got Steph Hancock, who has been named in jersey 18. Now, she's announced her retirement. Surely she's a late inclusion. Surely, with all due respect, with nothing to play for the Dragons other than pride, surely Steph Hancock has just one more hit out in the NRLW this weekend. And then Charlotte Basham also returns to the 1-17 for the Dragons. And shifting into the Broncos now, and Tasman Rapana has been named on the reserves, but maybe they err on the side of caution and not play her this weekend with the finals next weekend. Unfortunately, Stacey Waka has a fractured leg, and that's her season done now. What a huge help, what a massive impact she made on the Broncos this season. So therefore, Lauren Dam will fill in that spot on the wing. Aneta Claudia Nuasala does start for the Broncos, and Skylar Adams as well, and Ashley Werner have been named on the reserves list. It should be the Broncos. Even though the Dragons, final game of the season, final game for Jamie Soward as head coach, and potentially for Steph Hancock as well, who's retiring, they should be fired up for this game, Dragons. But it should be the Broncos that be too good and win this game 13+. The second game of the doubleheader at QCB Stadium is North Queensland hosting the Newcastle Knights. Cowboys are $3.36, Newcastle $1.33. This is the return of ex-head coach Ben Jeffries as he brings his Knights side up to Townsville. I don't know if there'll be any animosity. It should be pretty interesting to see what kind of level the Cowboys and Knights play at, considering Ben Jeffries just left after only one season at North Queensland. The team list now for the Cowboys: Crystal Blackwell replaces Nakore at wing. Tawalaliku remains on the other wing, and unfortunately she's got picked up from a selfish perspective, unfortunately I say. She's been picked up by the New Zealand Warriors from next year onwards, so good luck to her. She's an impressive young player. Shelley Long will take the place of Tiana Rathstrand-Smith, who suffered a concussion last weekend, so that's her season done, unfortunately, and she has been top 5 second rowers in the game, Tiana Rathstrand-Smith, and the interchange is Faifua, Peacock, Muka, and Libby Sura with jersey 22 on her back, going into the Newcastle Knights now. And this is the first time that I'm reading it, and it looks to be that it is a full strength side. Now, obviously, things can change before kickoff and even during the game, but there is one injury concern. Nita Maynard has been injured, and her season looks to be done due to a hip drop that happened to her this past weekend. Therefore, Evie Jones will play in jersey number 14 for the Newcastle Knights. Newey Knights, they do seem to be warming up since that loss to the Brisbane Broncos a couple of weeks ago. For the North Queensland Cowboys, so proud of this team, and they've doubled on their wins from their inaugural season last year. This team, if they can stick together and have a bit more luck on the injury front, this team will fight big time for the top 4. And the Cowboys last weekend took the Roosters all the way to the edge, even though Roosters were without Surgis and Taryn Aiken. But as a Cowboys fan, immensely proud of this season that this team has put in. Very, very excited for what the future holds. So with a final hurrah, go North Queensland Cowboys. You're going to win this one, 13+. Moving into Sunday, and we've got a double header at CommBank Stadium. The Raiders are the home team, and they're hosting the Gold Coast Titans. And the Titans come into the game as $1.80 favourites. The Raiders are $2 outsiders. Going into the team list now for the Canberra Raiders, and it doesn't look like that there's a hell of a lot of change. They're just the same 1-17 from last weekend, the Canberra Raiders, whereas the Gold Coast Titans, Arakua is out. We've also got Riley Jorgensen and Emily Bass, who have been named on the reserves list. But Danny Parisi returns into the fold, and Karina Brown, also a player that will retire this weekend. She will have her last hurrah with the Gold Coast on the wing this weekend. This is a really hard game to tip. Unfortunately, it's a game that doesn't have any bearing on the top 4. I happen to think that defensively, both sides have fallen off, but I think there might be a little bit more class in the Titans. This is a hard game to tip. I'll go for the Titans. It's been a very disappointing year for the Gold Coast, and they've also been bashed with injury. But I'm going to go the Gold Coast Titans in this one to get a little bit more faith back into the community, I guess, for the Gold Coast. And the final game of the round, the final game of the regular season, is the match of the round. And it's unfortunate that this is the only game that has any bearing on the top 4. If the Parramatta Eels win and the Newcastle Knights lose to the North Queensland Cowboys, or if Sharkies lose, there is a chance that Parramatta Eels can get in. But if the Roosters win and win well, not only do they keep Parramatta out of the top 4, the Roosters will be the minor premiers for 2024. The odds for this game is as follows. The Roosters have been slapped with $4 on them, and the Roosters are $1.25. Whoa, that is massive. Going into the team list for the Parramatta Eels now, and it looks like that they are unchanged from the 1-17 that went down to Canberra last weekend and won. And for the Sydney Roosters, Taryn Aiken has been named on the reserves list. Maya Hilmawana returns after Lopa Mawa was suspended for a hip drop But I would tend to suggest that Taryn Aiken does not play in this game, just to keep her on ice just for one more week. $4 about Parramatta is absolutely wild. If the Parramatta Eels can play disciplined like they have all year, or almost all year, and complete and stick with the Roosters with so much to play for, and even though they've got to rely on other results, I'm going to go the Parramatta Eels in this game. I'm going to say Eels win this game 1-12. Howdy everyone, thank you very much for tuning in once more. I hope you enjoyed this little podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you, take care, adios.